welcome in Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy. So good morning to you, Senator. I want to start with the Washington Post claims that the U.S. airstrike on the Venezuelan drug boats apparently left 2 survivors, only to go back to be followed by a second strike, allegedly ordered by Secretary Hegseth to kill everybody on board. Of course, the Democrats, they accuse this of being a war crime. Take a listen to this.
Do you believe if there was a second strike to eliminate any survivors, that constitutes a war crime?
It seems to. If that is true, if what has been reported is accurate, I've got serious concerns.
What do you make of what happened there? Do you think there was a war crime committed?
Oh, I think it's very possible there was a war crime committed.
If that reporting is true, it's a clear violation of the DOD's own laws of war, as well as international laws about the way you treat people who are in that circumstance. And so this rises to the level of a war crime.
So the Democrats clearly got their talking points: war crime, war crime, war crime, war crime. And it seems like even though Republicans and Democrats, Senator, have said we want to look into this, Democrats have already jumped to the conclusion, and they're now starting to talk about the crime.
It's a way to undermine what the president's trying to do, which is to shut down the flow of drugs through Venezuela to the United States. That's a good thing. Now, you're right. It should be investigated. Roger Wicker, the senator from Mississippi, has already announced that they will look into it. But it's important not to leap to conclusions. I like the way it was constantly said, if this is true. Well, of course, if it is true. So you have to wait to see if it is true before you start making allegations.
Senator, I want to shift gears now there's a new deadline facing Congress and the expiration of the Obama COVID tax credits. And you're working with the president to push billions in subsidies directly to consumers rather than the big insurance companies. Talk to us more about that.
Yeah, I learned as a doctor that if you give the power to the patient, good things happen. Now, right now, these enhanced premium tax credits go to the insurance companies. They take 20% of it for profit and overhead. They're allowed to do so under Obamacare. Instead of giving the money to the insurance companies for profit, if we give it to the patient for patient care, then a lot of good things happen. She gets the care she knows she needs for her and her family, as opposed to the health care that the insurance company gives her permission to get. Yeah. She's going to shop for the better deal. We lower her deductible. She's able to buy a cheaper insurance plan with lower premiums. So lower premiums, cheaper deductible, that's a sweet spot. And that's something that Republicans, I think, can get behind.
This seems like such common sense to me, Senator. I mean, give the money to the people, let them spend it the best way possible, rather than giving it to the big company to take 20% off the top just for profit. But it's also a big policy shift. I mean, these subsidies expire at the end of the year, and basically a month from today. Do you have enough time to get this kind of a policy shift done, or do you think we may have to see a short-term extension while we work out the fine-tooth details?
So, Mark, absolutely it's common sense. And that's why it hasn't happened yet, right? You know, no one ever has accused Congress of employing common sense. But on the other hand, we do have the legal framework by which this can be employed. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill, we said, wait a second, we can put health savings accounts upon this type of policy. That's already in place. And so, and on another type of Obamacare exchange, we already use health savings accounts with lower cost policies. So let's just take that model, health savings accounts with lower cost policies, bring it over to the Obamacare individual exchange. Boom, common sense can reign.
Common sense. How about that?
Wow.
Before we go, I do want to get to this also. I want to talk about the latest in your investigation into 18 blue states on whether they're in compliance with President Trump's executive order of keeping men out of women's sports. Talk to us more about that.
Yeah, so the president put out that executive order. Speaking of common sense, no one should think that it's fair to a young lady that she has a man competing against her. That just turns Title IX on its head. This should be about fundamental fairness. The president has said that is the case through the executive order, and then some states are saying, stop, nope, we're still going to allow males to compete in female sports. That is wrong. So let's look and see what the nature of the problem is. Let's highlight it. I cannot believe that women in those sports, in those states, actually think it's fair to have men competing against them. So let's highlight it, and maybe if there's something to do, we do it.
I mean, the perfect example of this was the strongest woman competition in the world was won by a man, and then they just had to strip the title. It's not fair.
No, it's not fair. And we should give every young lady who's in sports the same opportunity to succeed, to be a champion, and she's not going to have that same opportunity if we allow men identifying as women to participate in their sports.
As a mom with